Today we're going to play some more Kaiserreich, and we're going to play as Ethiopia. Because, like, why not? I don't know how many people on YouTube have ever played Ethiopia, because, I mean, Ethiopia. But, you know what? It's going to be a shorter stream today, so it's like, you know, why not give it a try? We can probably get this whole campaign done in, honestly, like, 2.5 hours. Because, I mean, what does Ethiopia do? Not much. I mean, we're going to go to war with Somalia. We might end up at war with Eritrea as well. And maybe we can go to war with the Egyptians, but I'm actually not too sure about. I know they can declare war on us, I believe. Yeah, they can declare war on us, but I don't know if I can declare war on them. We'll read this event in a second. Just want to go up here. Search up Egypt. That's nice about Egypt. I mean, they're not listed. I know we will eventually get a war goal against Somalia, but we'll see how that goes. But for now, Ethiopia, an empire at the crossroads. Abyssinia, also known by its endonym of Ethiopia, was an only African state which managed to remain independent during the 19th century, having successfully defeated the Italian invasion in 1896. This victory was symbolic of the process of modernization within the Abyssinian Empire, which has sought to bring the country up to date with European standards in terms of its economy, military, and administration. In 1918, under Empress Zuditu, Abyssinia entered the Krieg on the side of the Germans, successfully annexing the Italian colony of Eritrea and dealing with the pretender Emperor Lisu. However, the army performed rather poorly against Italian garrisons and few Entente raids into the empire. Control over the disputed areas of Harar was not enforced as Somali forces were held much of the area and could not be dislodged, and have not even to this day. When the old Empress Zuditu died with no surviving children, her cousin, regent, and oftentimes rival, Rastafu Mokinen, ascended to the throne as Emperor Haile Selassie. The new monarch announced his intention to undertake a new series of reforms in order to westernize Abyssinia, as the main leader of the reactionary faction, his predecessor, was out of the picture. These initiatives, however, were fiercely opposed by the conservative nobility of the nation. Minor kings and dukes who saw in Zuditu someone much more amenable into the region of the empire. Ties with Germany and new owners of the nearby Djibouti were strengthened as the railroad connecting to the outposts, Addis Ababa and Kenya was built, mostly with German capital. Relations have since been positive, despite reports of eccentric behavior by the new Middle African governor. However, relations with Somalia and their Ottoman backers continue to be tense at best, and confrontation seems inevitable. The emperor knows that such a war would retake a united empire under his banner and cause as ambitious dukes a well side with the enemy, and if they remain with their power unchecked, and thus matters at home must be dealt with first. So we have 6 factories. We are currently 2, 0, and 4. I mean, that's not the worst. I was honestly expecting to be in a much worse position. So we go with 1 factory here. The Germans do own Djibouti. Somalia does own this territory here, which we do have a claim on. And then, I mean, if we can, like, take over Sudan, I mean, we'll see how it goes, right? We have 2 research slots. We'll go with our basics, of course, research speed, and honestly, let's go for construction first. Get our Army Navy experience, fantastic. And we have a total of 8 beautiful units, which of course we're immediately going to put on the border here with Somalia. I'm surprised we have so many generals for such a small country. Like, when would you ever need to use this many generals? We may choose Ethiopia. Or not choose, choose Ethiopia. Intervago, that couldn't take control of Russia. We can have up to 13 units. Our units are actually not as bad as I was expecting them to be. I mean, that's nice. We do got some German troops moving to the territory. Some of these guys are extremely, extremely weak. We're missing 3,100 rifles. Very cool. It's going to take about 1.5 years to fix. And right now we're trying to get, to just deal with our debt. And eventually, I'm assuming, once Black Monday hits, this will, the DKAEB is owned by international companies, or owned by Middle Africa, and the DKAEB is owned by the Ethiopian state. I'm assuming this has to do with Black Monday. Afghanistan is now at war with India. That's completely a-okay. Nothing to really worry about there. So how long are these focuses? Black Monday. A massive breakdown has occurred yesterday in Berlin's stock market. The German economy is in tatters, and with our large trade partner in such straits, our economy is feeling the effects too. However, our lack of sophisticated financial infrastructure has shielded us rather well. The worst of the depression. Okay, it's only an 80-50 political power. Absolutely not a problem whatsoever. So you are 56 days. So we got 50, 150, 250, 300. So we'll get to Celestial Reform by around the end of the year. We need a... Okay, let's look at our other trees as well. Like, we have some military trees over here. Military Reforms is Army Experience and Land Doctrine. Mass Assault. A generic one here. Land Doctrine. 1 free military factory is nice. 50% cheaper guns is really nice as well. Attack and defend the core territory. And you remove national levies. The DKAEB nears bankruptcy. The DKAEB railway was established in the early 20th century, linking Addis Ababa in Ethiopia to Djibouti. After a series of German-backed expansions, and is now mainly used to transport ore from the Congo Basin, from Middle Africa to Djibouti. The present economic downturn in the world has meant that the ore is no longer being purchased at the rate it once was, and so the future of the DKAEB railway is in question. This would be a great opportunity for us to rid ourselves of this economic domination. DK Railroad currently prioritizes German goods over our own interests. The state modifier decreases local supplies by 10%, division speed by 10%, and disables strategic redeployment. Okay, that's kind of actually interesting. I've never seen... Is there anything I can do about that? Or do we have to... Does it matter what Germany does? Nationalize the railways. Or we allow the Germans. Maybe we'll get like an event on this in the future. The DKAB abandoned by the German Empire. The looming bankruptcy of the DKAB in mind, German government has offered to sell the state-owned section of the railroad to our government for a low price. If we do not accept, it's likely European or North American consumers will take over the railroad and forming foreign influence in our economy. So let's see, what do we get from this? We can either privatize the railway, which means we get two factories here. We get a military mission. A German partner. Does this allow you to join the Reichspakt? Nation has ties to the German Empire. France at war with Germany. Somalia does not exist. What else have we got? So if we privatize, we can actually join the Reichspakt, which I didn't even know. That actually might make this campaign longer than I thought it was going to be. So we might not finish the whole thing today. Tribal integration, limit more crew population. Eritrea, we get some more cores. Develop Eritrea. I'm kind of curious to join the Reichspakt. Because we nationalize it, we're just like more isolationist. So you know what? Privatize that railway. We'll see how Germany actually reforms in the Willkrieg. But it'd be kind of interesting again just to join. Because I've never seen Ethiopia join a faction. Downchains declare war. That's completely a-okay. So that will be dealt with. But I actually have a lot of political power right now, which is very nice. If Eritrea is not properly integrated by the time we enter conflict, we shouldn't expect them to remain loyal. Tax the church, tax slave owners. You get some more. Yeah, you know, let's privatize the railway. We'll sell it to we'll sell it to Middle Africa if they're willing to buy it. Don't need to do any of this. Turn that off. Go up to early mobilization right now. I mean, could we just easily kill Eritrea? I don't know if we could just murder them. It'd be nice if we could. You know, let's train up. We can train up another 6 divisions. So, you know, might as well get these guys starting to train. hopefully by the time the war breaks out. I'm not too sure when that will happen. I mean, can Somalia declare war on us? Royal Army. Deal with Black Monday. I mean, yeah, that's like their final thing they do is declare war on us. Black Monday actually affect them worse than us. It actually really hampers them. That's actually kind of interesting that it makes Somalia worse than it makes the Ethiopia. But that's okay. It's 36% party popularity. The YTT and the DL also have a lot of popularity in the country as well. And I know at the very end of our tree here, we can either become, you know, democratic. We can... Your constitution's been approved. I guess empower the nobles or empower the king. I think we'll probably go for, like, the democratic route. Must be owned by international companies, must be owned by Middle Africa. Unless, wait. Is it owned by... Maybe actually we can't do this. Because it's not owned by Middle Africa. Right? It's owned by... I'm assuming the generic international company. I'm going to save here quickly. The reason we're going to save here, just in case when this focus actually finishes, we'll see if I get a choice to sell it to somebody, or if it's just owned by generic international companies. If it's owned by just generic international companies, then we'll probably... I guess I have to do it this way, because I've already decided not to buy the railroad. So, okay then. Either way, we'll see where it goes. We might honestly, don't tell anybody. We might just cheat and get the German investments anyways. That's more of like a future thing, though. I kind of want to join the Reichspakt just because it's something that I have never seen before, and I think it could be interesting. I'm not too sure how much Ethiopia could really do to help out Germany in the event of a war. So I guess we don't need the music tab open. Let's just close that up. Is there anything else really going on around the world? Not really, I think. Everything seems more or less stable. I mean, again, it's still early on. And do we care anything about like the American Civil War? I don't think so. I guess we want to join the Reichspakt, we just don't want the CSA to win. But anyone else I think would be okay. Actually, you do get expanded railway anyways. Tribal integration, develop Eritrea. So you might have to do this first before you go to war. We will hold off for a moment. Yeah, so you know, let's go to tax the church. We do lose some stability here, but that's okay. We're an army of levies, which is let's look at our national spirits. We haven't actually looked at that quite yet. Organization minus 25%. Awesome. We have slavery, which is a 10% stability modifier, and political power cost. More organization loss, and max planning is going bad because we're an aristocratic military. And we have crippling debt. Very cool. Which means actually our stability is actually going down every week. Yeah, weekly changes. It's actually, we're becoming more unstable as time goes on. And if we look at our resistance, Eritrea is not a core territory of Ethiopia. which means they might rebel against us in the future, which is a little scary. Okay, so we're going to try to fix our debt as much as we possibly can. Introduce taxation in Eritrea. Tax the Oromo. We can start doing some reforms. I want to do the... Oh, these are actually only 35 days. Okay, so that's not bad. Initial reforms. New constitution. I think we do want to be, like, as liberal as we can. Just so we can go for the people's constitution here and have an election. I think the military tree, I'm not too worried about that. I don't think it's a big deal. Especially since we only have 2 research slots. There's not much we can actually get done anyways. I need all our even more stability loss. It's a lot of stability loss, which is not great. And how expensive are these ones? Are they 56 days as well? Yes, they are. I'm assuming we need to integrate in order to make sure that they don't uprise against us when we go to war with Somalia, or I guess at war with the Third International as well. Okay, so church has been taxed. Let us go for... We're going to tax some slave owners. And let's get the production efficiency cap going as well. Is there anything actually in here that gives me more research slots? We got 1 slot there. Yes, we get 1 slot way down in educating the slaves. So, I mean, we're not going to be stuck on 2 forever, which is nice. Population goes up by 40%. Modernize the administration. Which is 15% stability is not bad. More recruit population. Then there's even more stability here. We're going to get a lot of reforms in the future. I'm not surprised that there's a lack of events for Ethiopia right now. I mean, I didn't come into this expecting to be reading a lot. And none of you got... You don't even have your manpower, really? No, you do have your manpower. You just have no equipment. And we're missing 7.2 thousand rifles. It's going to take 1,000 days for this to be fixed. Which is not great. I guess we actually don't have any steel in the country. We actually produce nothing naturally. Is there anybody close by that we could... You know, let's trade with Japan. I think that seems okay. It'll allow us to produce rifles at a better rate when we actually have resources now. And one thing it allows us to do is that we can go to the free trade with no real penalty. I mean, yeah, you lose intelligence, but I don't think intelligence matters that much against the AI. This is actually just a straight up upgrade. I think in Hearts of Iron 4, or at least Kaiserreich, you always want to take free trade if you produce nothing naturally. Because, like, it's like, oh no, lose a little bit more rubber. Who cares? How many aircraft is Ethiopia going to be building? Very few, I would imagine. So yeah, we'll go up to free trade. It's going to be a 5%. It's basically a 5% upgrade on construction speed, research speed, factory output, and dockyard output. Dockyard output's less important, but... I mean, it would be nice. We don't actually produce convoys naturally. And next, we don't have any building slots. So we'd have to actually destroy the civilian factory if we wanted to make any kind of shipyard. Yeah, so let's introduce taxation to Eritrea. And when do we think that, I mean, this is a very big tree that Somalia has to get through in order to actually fight us. And again, Egypt can invade us, but they have to wait until they're actually done fighting against the Ottomans. And who knows how long that's going to take. Where people are at war in China. Really doesn't matter so much to us. Yes, we got the anarchist. I guess you're not the anarchist, right? I think you're like the Christian socialist. We got the Christian socialist. We've got the anarchist, and I think Britain has just gone for the generic syndicalist here. And France has had a nice little coup. Always nice to see. So what's the Reichspakt doing right now? Do we know what they're doing? Not quite. which alliance will you join? I think the only alliance we can actually join is the Reichspact. But we can only join the Reichspact by cheating because because Middle Africa did not buy up the DKAEB. We can't actually do the German path. And I don't believe you can join the Entente. You can't join the Internationale. And you can't... I don't believe you can join up with the Cairo Pact either. So I think this is the only way you could ever join a faction. And it requires that Middle Africa buys your railroad. In this campaign, they didn't do that. So we're just going to cheat our way through these focuses and just do that in the future. Okay, so Belgium has joined up in the Reichspact. So they declared independence just to immediately join up with Germany. Give us more, because concentrated industry. Excavation is never going to be important at all. Go for reinforcement rates. And let's tax the Oromo. That'll at least get rid of our horrible, horrible debt problem. And it looks like someone here was like assassinated, right? Balance the budget. It looks like Nej and Hassan and Jamal Shamir are at war with each other. Who's gonna win? I guess it doesn't really matter so much. I mean, we want the Ottoman Empire to win overall. Because if the Ottoman Empire wins overall, they can join up with the Reichspact. Which would be nice for us. Middle Africa, it's currently, it's led by Goreng. But they're not national populist, so I'm hoping that they don't just completely collapse. Because if they completely collapse, we're going to be in an awkward situation. Let me just put it that way. I mean, I guess we're not really going to be in an awkward situation, but... let's go up to limit conscription, because again, that has no actual penalty.